Welcome back to our podcast channel, where we discuss everything sales. I'm your host, David Pereira, and today you're going to be dealing with me only. There's no guest, as you can see. We're going to be discussing the effect and the impact that AI has had in sales. This is part of a 10-part mini-series that we're going to be going through. And the way that I'm going to relate it, as you can see on the whiteboard, is I'm going to relate it to the sales funnel. So if you're in sales, you know you're quite familiar with the sales funnel. I'm sure if I had to draw it up, and I'm going to draw it up now quickly, that you are very familiar with it. So let's get down into it. So normal sales funnel. Okay, so I'm going to break it up into 6 stages. Some people have more, some people have less. Keep it to 6. So at the top we've got awareness. We then have interest. My handwriting, if you can't read it, it's not my problem. So just listen to me. We've got evaluation. We have intent, purchase, and then loyalty. So today we're going to be focusing on one part that is above awareness, which is data. Or who do we go after? Okay, pretty simple, right? Okay, so let me flip that over. Wasn't prepared for this, but this falls not my problem. So we're talking about data. So data is who are we going after and why? How do we know who we're going after? And how is AI getting involved in this mix of things? So within our business, what we do is we take a look at a couple of factors. One, which is more prevalent in the software space, is your Technographic Stack. So what Technographic Stack means, it means what technologies are companies using. So how does AI get involved? So you've got platforms like HG Insights, you've got Zoom Info, and a few more that are all scraping the internet at all times, scraping things like G2, Capterra, different platforms, and trying to analyze which companies are using which technology. And they pass it through the machine learning algorithms to then identify and give you a optimistic approach as to which companies are using those technologies. So how does this affect us as salespeople? Let's say that you are taking to market a plugin for a Salesforce environment. So if you're trying to take a plugin for a Salesforce environment, you want to find all the companies that use Salesforce, surely. Imagine just plugging yourself into there and HG Insights spits out and tells you these, let's call it 100 companies, are using Salesforce. Now how simple could that be? How easy is that for the effect of going after the right audience? So that's one of the first areas where AI can actually help you quite quickly, bring it down to who do you need to go after according to what you're wanting to sell. The next one is actual data and contact data. Let's call it people contact data. If you and your sales team are not using something like, again, Zoom Info or Apollo, Lusher, Seamless, Sword, then guys, you need to go talk to your sales manager, your sales director, your CEO. I don't care who you need to go talk to. You need to get one of these because it simply gives you the information that you need about all the contact information, all their mobile data. It gives you their LinkedIn profiles, everything so much easier. So how AI gets involved with this is that these databases that you see over there are built on the fly. So it's a lot of data scraping, but it's also a lot of data assuming, and it's leveraging that data to actually give you a probable cause, a probable result as to what that person's email address is, what that person's contact details are. And they use platforms like LinkedIn mainly, but they're using other platforms as to where they're publishing it. Trying to see which company they're working for, and then going onto the company website, seeing if there's an email address over there, and then taking that back to, okay, this is the guy's email address, and this is the confidence rating. It's using the validation and all of that. So it is a bit more machine learning than AI, and just using its big data, but it's something that is so useful nowadays, and it's not that expensive. And you need to agree with me that if you have these two different types of platforms that you're leveraging for your data and for who you're going after, you're in such a better position knowing that you're going after people that are actually going to buy from you. You know, other things that come into account with these type of things is companies that have just got funding. You know, whether that be debt, venture capital, doesn't really matter. You can start talking about things like what's in the news, technology trends, and how this affects your business or what you're trying to take into the business. So it's other factors that you can take into account. So if you are if you're a business that appeals to VC companies, like we do, by the way, well, not VC companies that recently received VC funding, you know, I can just go onto the database and I can pull out all the companies that have just received funding, and I can immediately have that database of who exactly I'm going after. So again, if you don't have these type of platforms, you guys need to invest in these type of things. The last thing that I'm going to say, which should be quite obvious, is your internal CRM. So CRM nowadays is not very well used from what I've been exposed to. But your CRM is your one source of truth of what you're selling in your environment. This should be telling you exactly where your business is coming from. And you also always need to apply that 80-20 rule. And if you've got a good AI engine on top of it, on top of your CRM, it's starting to go into the market and starting to find other companies that are quite similar. So it's all about taking the work away, that mundane work of trying to search for things, and rather leveraging these AI platforms to give you that data immediately, so that instead of trying to manually put data together, you're in a position where you do a couple of searches around these things and you've got exactly who you think will buy from you. And if you leverage all these things, you're in a very good position. And all your outbound efforts that you're putting, as well as inbound, can all be very, very narrowly targeted. Shotgun approach doesn't really work from what we've seen. You need to be that sniper. You need to know who you're going after. And I think if you take a look at these, you at least, when you start going into the market and you've got a good source of data to start off with. So that would be the first one for today. Data, who you're going after. I think if you leverage these type of things, you can be in a very good position when you start your outbound.